We just recently hit 50,000 miles in our Tesla Model Y, and this link up here will take you to that video. But the point is, I am now coming into fall, and it's that time of year that I do my annual maintenance on the Model Y. Now, Tesla does have a really nice guide online on the things that you need to do, but there's not a lot of detail on there specifically on what you need to do because there's so little to do. And that brings me to the thought of what are all the things that I do? And I actually do have a list of things that I do every year in this car. And some of this is more than once a year. Some of this doesn't have to be done every year. But generally speaking, this is the annual maintenance you need to do on your Model Y. So there's actually 8 items that are on my list, and we're going to start with the outside of the vehicle. So first and foremost, it is time to look at, I just replaced regardless of the condition, but take a look at your wipers. And are they in good condition? Do they need to be replaced? These are not super expensive. They're about 25 or 30 bucks online. So I just replace them every year, but I also do a lot of miles. So perhaps mine get worn out a little bit quicker than yours. So pretty easy to do this. Make sure you hit wiper mode on the screen, and that'll bring your wipers up so that you can reach them. And it's pretty easy. You just remove what's on there and snap in the new replacements. That's all there is to it. And while you're up here, go ahead and open the front and go ahead and top off your washer fluid. This next one is kind of a bigger one, and it's kind of nice because there was a software update not that long ago, and Tesla now shows you how many miles it's been since you've rotated the tires. So you can reset this on the screen, and when you're done, if you do your own tire rotations, I'll show you how to do this yourself. But that way it helps to keep you on track of rotating those tires. It's so easy to forget how many miles, and even resetting I forget to do. So I think mine showed like 19,000 miles or something. That's not actually true. I do rotate these tires every 5,000 miles, and then certainly every year as well. So for doing this on a Tesla, there's 2 different things that matter. Number one, do you have a performance model with a staggered setup? And if you do, you're just going to rotate these side to side. So the 2 front tires are going to stay on the front. The 2 rear tires will stay on the rear. For everybody else, you're actually just going to move the rear tires to the front and the front tires to the rear. Now, to do this yourself, you are going to need a few specialty items. First, you're going to need to get jack pucks, and these are not too expensive. But the good thing is I've got this figured out in a way that you can do this with just one actual jack. You need a 2-ton jack, but it can't just be any floor jack. It needs to be a low profile jack. And the reason is the clearance underneath the vehicle, once you put that puck in place, is very tight. A standard jack will not fit under this car, even a Model Y with that puck in place. So you need a low profile jack that's at least 2 tons. These are heavy vehicles, and you'll need that full 2 tons because I'll show you in a minute how you can actually lift the entire side of the car with one jack. You're going to need a torque wrench to torque the lugs down. The torque spec for Tesla is 129 pounds, and you need a 21 millimeter socket. An impact wrench, if you have it, would be nice. It does make this a lot faster and a lot easier. It'll at least get the lug nuts off quicker and get those lug nuts started much faster, but that's obviously optional. You can go with just a nice torque wrench. So you're going to do this one side at a time, and this is how it works. First, you're going to set the jack puck underneath the car on the front driver's side. Put your low profile jack underneath this and lift the vehicle. Once you get the front wheel off the ground, you're actually going to need to keep going, and you're going to try to lift this to about 6 inches up. Once you have about 6 inches, you'll notice the rear wheel is starting to come off the ground. You can lift the entire side of this car with just that front mount. So lift the side of the car till you've got enough extra room on that rear wheel to take that off. Then it's pretty simple. Remove the lug nuts, remove the wheel, and swap it front to back, back to front. Once you've swapped that wheel, be sure to put any covers back on the wheel that you may have, and do not forget to top off the air. This is the perfect time to make sure that your air pressures are good, and if anything's like super low, that'll be an indication that, hey, maybe there's something wrong with this tire. You can use this time while you have the wheel off also to inspect those tires for any nails or any other issues. So now that we've got most of the exterior done, let's head on to the inside of the car, and we're going to start on the passenger floorboard. We're going to replace the air filter, and we're going to clean the evaporator on our Tesla. This is not a hard thing to do. It's pretty easy. once you know where to go, I've done a couple videos on this now, and I use this Vion set. It's not too terribly expensive, but I definitely do this every year, and your mileage may vary, but in my climate, I get that smell about once a year. It's moisture getting trapped in there, and so every year I need to clean it out, and I just go ahead and replace the filters while I'm in there anyways. Pretty easy to do, and it's a nice feeling when that's done because it smells so much fresher in your car. Definitely worth getting that done once a year. The next one is a really important step actually, and it's cleaning and resealing the seats, especially if you have white. If you want to make it easier to maintain these seats, do this every year. So you're going to want to clean the seats, obviously, start with baby wipes and then progressively work your way up. There's a new cleaner that I found that I'm really in love with. It's completely sold out and it sells out really quick. So it may be sold out when you click it, but just keep an eye out for it. That'll get the tough stuff out, like the jean stains that maybe you left too long. And once you get a nice clean layer, go ahead and reapply that ceramic coat for your seats. This just helps to maintain these seats, make it easier to maintain these seats throughout the year, making baby wipes even more effective when you have that barrier down on the seats. And then finally, we're going to add all those accessories that you ordered that have just been sitting on the desk all this time. If you're anything like me, you get a ton of accessories for your Teslas, and sometimes you forget to put all of them on. So take a look at your coveted place where you hide all these accessories, and now's a really good time to go ahead and install these. This time I'm going to be installing this really cool cubby that I found. It goes underneath the screen and it also has a shelf behind the screen on top. Super easy to install, and this thing's actually got magnets all over the place, so you can put your AirPods in there and they'll stick in place. Pretty cool accessory, inexpensive, and I've seen some much bigger ones. Do not get the big ones, they're a waste. This slim one is perfect for the job. So now you have extra places to put things like your phone, AirPods, anything else that you want to put away, but have easy access to it. Next, I'm also going to upgrade the interior lights on the car. So in my case, all I'm doing is swapping out the front two lights for a brighter ambient light. If you have a standard range or a rear wheel drive Model 3, you know how dark it is in the cab. Even having a long range and having those lights underneath there, they're very dim. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's too dim for me. I drive a lot at night in the dark, and I had decided that I needed to brighten up the space a little bit because it is super dark in there. And these lights, although are probably too bright for some of you, I really like how much brighter it is on the inside. If you drop anything, way easier to find stuff, and it's a lot more comfortable being able to see in the nighttime what's going on down on the floor if needed. So that's the list of the items that I do once a year. Some of the stuff I do more than once a year, like rotating the tires, because I drive so much, it's multiple times a year that I actually have to rotate those tires. And that's why I decided to make the investment on some of these things like the low profile jack. I had a jack, but not a low profile one. And it was $90 or $100 at the time. I don't know how much they are today, but it was worth the investment because I can do all this myself. I've already got all the tools, and quite honestly, it's a pain to go in somewhere to have this done, especially around here. Not every tire shop knows how to lift a Tesla properly. They don't know that pucks are supposed to be used, and it's alarming, but I don't want to go to Tesla to do this either because I don't want to wait forever to have simple things done. I can just do this myself on my time, and that's why doing this once a year all on my own is a nice regimen, because I've got everything I need right here and I can do it on my own schedule, get everything done right, and I know it's done right, and it's all easy to do yourself anyways. So for you, these are some recommendations. You don't have to do all this stuff, but this is the stuff that I do, and I definitely do it every year, if not more. So I hope that this video was helpful for you when you start to think about your annual routine, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.